Well, I'll talk to you afterwards, though, because I need to do another day. All right, all right, all right, all right. Here we go. Waiting for everybody to get on. I know it's not 5. Oh, it is 5. It is now 1700 military time, 5 p.m. For those who didn't go to the military. Waiting for everybody to come on so that we can jump right into our lesson at hand today. I'm waiting for getting my checking to see who's live. I see. There's Sean. There's Daisy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Trying to get the other. All right. There we go. Give a couple of more seconds. Wait for everybody to get on. Making sure I got everything all lined up so I can see everybody. I see Pastor May. I see Tammy. Prophetess Tammy. I see Deacon Shine. I see Daisy. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everybody. I see May on one phone. Let's see. I see Danielle. Good evening. Good evening. One more minute. Give everybody another minute. We'll start at 5:02, and then we'll get, as they say, get to going, as they say in Texas. We'll get to going. Hello, OJ. OJ, how you doing, Deacon OJ? All right.
What it is, y'all.
What it is, y'all. What it is, y'all. Much love, much love.
OJ.
All right, the time is 5:02. I don't want to belabor the time. Please make sure that you share on your own social media platform so everybody, or if you, so that everybody can get what we're going to talk about. You can see at the bottom it says you're not designed for dysfunction. Dysfunction. We all can say that we have come from some kind of dysfunctionality in our families or whatever, but God did not design us for dysfunction. And looking at Psalms 139. Verse 14. First of all, let me welcome Pastor Terrence on with me today. We're doing another dynamic duo setting on today as we talk about you're not designed for dysfunction. Psalms 139 and 14 says, I thank you, God, for making me so mysteriously complex. Everything you do is marvelous, breathtaking. It simply amazes me to think about it. How thoroughly you made me, Lord. I love that in the Passionate Translation because I love the way it starts out. It says, I thank you, God, for making me so mysteriously complex. Everything you do is marvelously breathtaking. In other words, creating us was marvelously breathtaking. When we look at the creation that he did in us, it simply amazes me to think about it. How thoroughly you made me. So when you look at this scripture and you think about it for yourself and put yourself in it, say, I thank God, whatever your name, put your name in there. Thank God for making your name so mysteriously complex. Everything you do is marvelously breathtaking. It simply amazes me, you being you, to think about it. How thoroughly he know me, Lord. So every doubt, never doubt, rather, God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve, rather, infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream, and exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power consistently energizes you. He can do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ever hope and or imagine. Hello, Liz. Or imagine. I love that. It's like that my spiritual father is doing what he call an Ephesians 3:20 moment here. And that's exactly what we're talking about. He can do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever hope or imagine. So when God designed a perfect plan for your life, it doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be obedient. See, that's something we want to take a parenthetical pause here for a moment. And you look at that, it says, It doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be obedient. And we understand that partial obedience is still disobedience. So I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be obedient. Can you want to jump in there, Pastor Terrence, and say something about obedience before we move on?
Yeah. I'm the wrong person to talk about obedience. No, I'm kidding. But obedience, you don't have to be. And I want to talk when I say obedience. When we talk about obedience, if I can, for a moment, kind of, I guess I would say, talk about myself. A lot of different things, we find ourselves in or doing, and uh, thank you, Miss Daisy. When we're doing it, we might be called to a certain assignment that we may feel like we're not qualified for, we're not ready to do. And in that obedience, I believe God graces us to do the things that we are that we may not think we're qualified for, or maybe things that we don't even think we'll be able to do. And I've seen that a lot of times in a lot of things that I've done over the course of years, where I wasn't perfect, or I wasn't the perfect choice for it, but because of the obedience, because of that yes, God graced me to do whatever it was that I was doing. And so, and Pastor May says obedience is better than sacrifice. Being disobedient, obviously you won't reap. Being obedient, you will reap. And so I just want to encourage you to, you don't have to be made perfect. You don't have to be what's the word, you don't have to be a wordsmith in order to give a word. You don't have to be the best singer to sing, but if you're obedient to it, to whatever the call is, and God will grace you to fulfill whatever it is that He has called you to do. I'm gonna pass that back to you, Father.
I like that
Pastor
part. We
Bettina.
talked. Hello, Pastor Bettina. Hello, Pastor May. They just joined on. I like to say that thing about gracing. That's something that we have to understand, and that helps us. That will help you along in your obedience when you understand that it's not you anyway. So if He called you to it, He's going to get you through it. So if He called you, He's going to give you the grace. That's it. Me plus Him equals grace. Good job, Deacon OJ. That's exactly right. Me plus Him equals grace. So when I align with Him for what He wants me to do, He gives me the grace to do the things that I didn't think I could do. I didn't desire to be a pastor. I didn't grow up wanting to be a pastor. It wasn't on my top 10 bucket list. But when He called me to be a pastor, He graced me to do it, even though I didn't feel I was qualified. I feel I was a less person to be a pastor than anybody but me. Can you find somebody else to be one? I just got so many things that I can find reasons why. And there's the reason. That's where we mess up. Thank you, Lord. One of the things that we mess up is we always look for the reasons why we can't, rather than looking to Him of why He says we can. We look, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I can't sing like like those great singers. But if He called you to it, He's going to grace you. Remember what Deacon OJ said, me plus Him equals a grace. And that grace is something, because He says, my grace is sufficient. Paul said, take this thing away from me. He said, no, I'm not going to take it away from you, because that thing that you are holding on to, that you're calling an inconvenience, is the thing that's helping me to help you. Because if you didn't have it, you would start walking in your own power, rather than understanding that it's by my grace and power that you're able to do. So we need to get that in our spirit, and we'd have to understand that it is what He wants us to do. And obedience is definitely better than sacrifice. And God will, that's it, Minister Gary Horn, God's will be done. That's how we have to say it. I don't know why you picked me, Lord, but your will be done. I don't know how this is going to look, Lord, but your will be done. I don't know what people are going to think about what you told me to do, but your will be done. Because not my will, but your will be done. So one of the things I want us to also understand is this. You're not designed for stress, anxiety, fear, and brokenness. I need you to hear me on this. You may deal with these things. You may have, some people may even have to deal with it in a medical sense of of having to be go to therapy or whatever, but you were not designed for this. Some things happen in a life, in the course of life. We have allowed things to come in, and you know, especially in the military, you've been through some stressors and things like that. Even though, and then if you wasn't saved and you got saved afterward, those things still, but you are not designed. So God didn't design, he didn't create you in the beginning with stress, anxiety, fear, and brokenness. Those are the things that came into us as we came into this broken world, into this sinful world. We picked, but you weren't designed for that. I need you to understand that you're complex yet complete. Oh, I wish you, you should, okay. If I was at the church, I'd drop the mic and run on that one. It says, you are complex yet complete. I am a complex person, but I'm complete. I don't need to add anything else to me. I'm what God created me to be. I don't need to go get plastic surgery. I don't need to go get ear, nose, and jaw, all that. I'm perfect the way God. I'm a complex being, but I'm complete. And you need to hear me on that one, because I'm not complete in me. That's it, Pastor May. I'm complete in him. That's what makes me complete. Because of myself, I could do nothing. And so you need to understand that you're complex, but yet you're complete. And you're designed for growth. Growth isn't an option, it's an opportunity. See, that's something I can't grow like it. No, all of us have growth. All of us need to grow. It's not an option to grow, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Like right now, we're on here listening. You're listening to me. You're listening to Pastor Terrence, and all of us are growing by what we hear, because it's in what we hear that's going to help us to move forward. And it begins with a seed. I need you to hear this. A seed. Everything that we do in life, it begins with a seed, and it continues with water, and then it blossoms with the SON, not the SUN. So I need you to hear me. So when we talk about this being designed, not designed for dysfunction, and we talk about how we were designed for growth, and growth is not an option, it's an opportunity. When we look at that, we got to understand that growth starts, everything we do in our life starts with a seed and continues with water, and then it blossoms with the SON. You want to speak to a little bit on this thing about the seed for a moment, as it deals with the seed, the water, and blossoming?
Yeah. If I could for a moment, and with your permission, go back to you are not designed for stress, anxiety, fear, and brokenness. If I could go back, I want to pick on that. Which is common. I guess I would say it's common. And, there are a lot of people, and I'm not, let me say this, let me preface about it. I'm not clinically qualified to say what I'm about to say, but I'm godly qualified to say what I'm about to say. Anxiety and fear. And when we talk about anxiety and fear, and one of the things I don't understand is, and I tell my wife this all the time, anxiety comes from the I guess you would say, the want to control things, right? And fear, what does fear come? Fear is something that is taught. So fear, and I would get into the Hebrew words of what anxiety means, digai or digai, and then the Hebrew word for fear is Y-A-R-E, which I'm not going to try to pronounce it, yare, but both of these words are, if you put them together, they are both taught things. So I know clinically we I have anxiety. I've been I've been diagnosed with anxiety and whatever. But if you keep your focus on God and you realize that He has all of the control and He has all of the ability to make whatever, then fear and anxiety won't creep up as much, because you know that God is in control. I want to move. I just wanted to get that out, but I want to go back to growth is an option and it's an opportunity. It begins with the seed. It continues with water and then blossom with the sun. So growth, we all want to grow some way, shape, form, or fashion. We all find ourselves, or have been in seasons of growth. And so, and I think we were talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, Apostle, or we were talking about humility on the leadership call on that happens on Friday. We were talking about humility. And one of the things I learned from the College of Bishops was we were talking about humility. And one of the bishops there said that we don't don't realize when they talk about, people think that when you talk about humility, that means you have to go low. No, you don't. Yes, you go low, but you have to know that when you go low, you are the seed. So you going low is you're going deeper in the ground. You're going deeper into into the soil, essentially, because you are the seed that will produce growth, if you will. I don't have my notes. My iPad is somewhere around here for me to unpack that. But knowing in growth, a seed has to go in order for it to grow. It has to go into the ground, so it has to be beneath, if you will, in order for it to grow. It has to find itself in a place that is dark and lonely, and then water, and then it's fed. Then it grows. And I know science says you can take a black eyed pea, wrap it in some paper towel, and wet it a little bit and come back or whatever, but it's still a place of lowness and humility where we're able to grow. You can't grow if you know everything. You can't grow if before I can get it out my mouth, you already know what I'm about to say when I'm about to say it. So you are a complex being, but you're not yet complete. You have to always find yourself as small as possible and as meek and mild as possible, so that you can grow. Your humility is how low you can go, so that you're able to root out, you're able to stretch out, and to touch the different areas or the different people that God has called you to touch. I don't know if I hit that right or whatever, but I really want to unpack that seed thing. I got to find my iPad. Maybe we can do it next week, but I really want to unpack that humility and the lowness in humility. But back to you, Dad. I don't want to rant. Go ahead.
You said something, and I'm not going to try to push it up. You said something that that kind of got me to thinking about the seed. We said that first we have to dig a hole or some place for it to be placed into, and we have to make sure that the place that we place the seed into is good and fertile and can sustain the seed for growth. So that when you're looking at humility, and you're looking at it from that context of being planted in, first we got to make sure we find the right place to place ourselves, and it's got to be the right ground, so that we can then put ourselves in the ground. And as Elder Glenn said, we got to go beneath the surface, and the reason we go beneath the surface is so that there's roots that can grow deep, because shallow humility will turn into pride in a minute. If the roots are not there, and the roots do not grow deep, shallow humility, it will show shallow humility. It'll come into pride in a minute. So I got to go deep. In other words, I got to go deep into the soil in which I was planted, which is in the Word, which is in God, which is in those that are helping me and mentoring me. I got to go deep in that, so that I can find the roots deep enough, so that I can sustain myself in a situation, so that when it comes to a place of me trying to be prideful or arrogant, my roots are so deep in that soil of humility and God and what I've learned, that I'm not going to just jump up and go, ooh. I know that. Now, while I'm in this ground, under this dirt, and I'm trying to learn, that's going back to the learning and growing. I'm growing. You can't see it, but all you see is me being covered. I love that. Being covered. All you see is me being covered. You don't know what's going on under that. You just see me being covered. But and at first the blade, then the root, then the stem, then everything grows up from there. But while you're looking at me going, you ain't doing nothing, you just in dirt. I don't see nothing happening in your life. In my life, under this dirt, under this covering, in this place with God, God is ripping out some things in me, because that seed busts open, and that natural thing begins to take its place. The roots grow deep. The whatever is created to be. That's what I'm saying about we are complex, but we're not. But yet we are complete, in the sense that if you're going to grow into be, let's say you're supposed to be an apple. Well, I need to grow into be an apple. So the ground that I'm put in is purposely designed for apples to grow. So that there's certain ground, soil that certain things will not grow in. So if I'm supposed to be an apple, then I need to be placed where apples are supposed to grow so that I may bear fruit of an apple and not anything else. A lot of times there's other where we sometimes try to cross pollinate. Well, in this, as Christians, we want to be brothers and sisters joined together. But in my calling and who God created me to be, I don't need to be cross pollinated. I just need to be watered. I need to be helped taken care of. But I don't want to cross pollinate with an orange, excuse me, when I was called to be an apple. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us, that we sometimes we're called to be one thing, but we're so envious of the apple that we're not happy with the orange he called us to be, thereby making some messed up fruit. And that's not what God wants. So in order to do all of that, we got to remember, and I love that we got to make sure, we got to go back to that and understand that I love the fact that it says it begins with a seed. And I got to continue to be watered. That's where the growth come in. That's where maturity comes in. One, like you just said, Pastor Terrence, when you don't think that you can be taught anything, then you're dangerous, because you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I got a lot of degrees. I've done a lot of studies. I read a lot of books. I wrote a dissertation, but I don't know everything. I'm yet learning. And I do believe until the day God calls me home, I will continue to be learning. The day you become so knowledgeable that you can't be taught is the day that you become to get in trouble. So we got to understand that. And God works from the inside out. I love that. That's good. Because inside, I'm inside. He doesn't work from the outside in. He works from the inside out. And that's good. Thank you, Pastor May, for that. That is so, yes, your fruit has to be conducive to your environment. Oh, that's good right there. And purpose and plan. That's good. That's a good point right there. Y'all need to, you need to type it up and swipe it up. So type it on the screen so it can be seen, and type it up and swipe it up, because that's a good point right there, Pastor Bettina. Your fruit/gift has to be conducive to your environment, purpose, and place. Because if I'm called to be with apples, it does no good for me to be an orange. I have to be an apple so that I can talk to other apples. I don't need to be an apple trying to talk to oranges. I need to be an apple. I need to be conducive to my what I'm called to be. And I think that's what the problem with people, they're envious of other gifts and anointings and things. And they're thinking, because I'm not this, I'm not that, I don't have a title. You don't need titles have become, and I say this all the time, become so, it's like a thing that you still, you chase after. And that's how that dysfunction starts. And let me tell you real quickly, and then we'll move on. And like you said, we'll probably have to finish this up next week. Real quickly, let me tell you how, because being in the military, we go rank structure, PFC, Lance Corporal, whatever. So I get into the ministry, and I still have my Marine Corps mentality of rank structure. So I see deacons, I see ministers, I see assistant pastors, and I see pastors. And in my mind, in order for me to be good and grow in God, I got to go through this evolution of going through all these steps to become. Because in the Marine Corps, you become a PFC, a Lance Corporal, private PFC, and Lance Corporal, non-ranks, NCOs, staff NCOs, senior staff NCOs. So you call senior staff NCOs, it's like the sergeant major and the master gunnery sergeant. Those are like, those are the rank. That's the top of the enlisted chain. So I'm looking at this. So I'm saying, okay, what do I need to do to be a deacon? So I'm just Brother Ford. I don't want to be Brother Ford. I want to be Deacon Ford. And that's where the situation went south, is because I sought after something that God wasn't ready for me to have. First of all, it wasn't what I was called to be, but I wanted it because, to me, the deacon got the keys. They got to open a church. It was like all this. It gave you a sense of elevation rather than being happy with what I was doing. I was already on the board of directors. I was on the board of directors for the ministry, but I wanted to be the board of director with a title. Wasn't good enough that I was a business administrator for the church, but I was just Brother Ford. And it's something that's stuck with me about being Brother Ford. And I need to help somebody on today. You got to get past them being stuck on something when somebody called you. Whether you brother, sister, elder, whatever, all of that is irrelevant if you're not doing what you're called to do. So we need to understand that. And I think that's a good place to jump into one other thing that I want to say, and we're probably going to have to leave it with this. because we got good. This is good. I appreciate this. Love like you've never been hurt. Whew. Okay, I don't think y'all heard me. Love like you've never been. Can you love like you? I know. So don't sit up there looking with your church face saying you ain't never been hurt. You ain't never had that problem. Love like you've never been hurt. I'm so whole. Brokenness doesn't not exist in my life. Whew. Ah, love like you've never been.
Yeah, I think you need to say again. I'm so whole. Brokenness doesn't exist in my life. That means I'm so complete.
Yes.
He just, I'm so complete. I'm so complete in the things of God that brokenness does not exist in my life. I just wanted to have you repeat that for them, because I think some people missed it.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm so good that I'm good. So, but go ahead, Dad. I'm sorry. I just
that's good. That's because it really is it does. It says I'm so whole in Him. So because we know I'm not complete in myself, but I'm so complete. I could put it in another word case for the spiritual one. I'm so complete in Him that brokenness does not exist in my life. That's profound. I walk around in so much completeness in Him that the brokenness that I've been through in my life does no longer exist. Did it happen? Yes, it did. Did I go through it? Yes, I did. But it does not have a place in my life right now. The problem with a lot of people, they have allowed brokenness and they say I'm whole, but I'm still broken. How can you be whole and broken at the same time? You cannot be whole and broken. When you drop a glass, it's broken. You put it back together, it's pieced together, and it's pushed back together. There's always something missing. You can't find the right little piece, and there's always a little. But when God, He doesn't like put you like, look, let me get this little. He makes a whole new, whole you back to you in Him, which makes you better than you were before. Oh, that's powerful right there. I'm gonna have to say that was so nice. I'm gonna have to say that twice. Right. Third time's a charm. I'm so whole. I'm so complete in God. That brokenness doesn't exist in my life. I need everybody need to type that one up. I'm so whole or / complete in Him. I'm so whole / complete in Him. Brokenness does not exist in my life. I think everybody, that's it. No residue. That's it. No residue. You can't see it. You can't see it. You don't know what I've been through. I don't look like what I've been through. You don't know the hell I just came out of because I'm so complete in Him. You don't know the stuff that people did to me, but I'm so complete in Him. You don't know the situation I just jumped out of that almost made me lose my mind, but I'm so complete in Him. You don't see the sadness. You don't see the tears. You don't see the pain. You don't see the anguish. You don't see all the stuff right now because all you see is my wholeness and completeness in Him. Somebody better come and get me right now because I'm about to reset reset myself. That's it. God hit my default button. He reset me. That's good right there. Sometimes you got on most computers and even in my car, I can reset the settings because sometimes I might have messed them up. But if I can go back and then I can reset them, then I can go back and set each one to the proper place I want it to be. Sometimes, thank you, Lord. Sometimes God has to reset you because He can't just fix one thing. He's got to go back and do a whole factory reset. Today, I had to have an upgrade on my car, on my BMW X7. I had to do a reset. I had to do an upgrade. I didn't realize that the upgrade meant they was going to shut the car down. I could not start my car while the reset was going on, while the upgrade was going on. I need somebody to hear me. God is about to do an upgrade on you, and He's going to have to shut you down. It said I had to sit down, and I was parked somewhere, and I had to wait 20 minutes. I could not move my car for 20 minutes because they were doing an upgrade. Some of y'all, God is putting you in a stationary position. You wonder why I can't move, because he's trying to do an upgrade. And what he needs to do in the upgrade is not going to, you can't go around doing all of this and doing all of that. He wants you to stand still, like Moses said, and see the salvation of the Lord. It's an upgrade season for some of you. It's an upgrade season for what's going to happen in your life. It's an upgrade season, but you got to stand still and walk through it. All right, Pat. We didn't even touch. We just scratched the surface. We didn't even get to none of what we had down on. But I love it. We got next week. I pray that everybody's been blessed by what we were talking about on today. Thank you so very much for being on. Yes, control. Yeah, that's it. And sometimes we gotta delete. But as we get ready to close, I need to bring up something. If you have not gotten, I know it's kind of if you have not gotten my book, Servant Leader, you need to get it. If you know people that need it, tell them about it. Servant Leader is not about you. It's a little short, easy read. I wanted to put something out there quickly. It's not in depth like a lot of people. I wanted to put something out quickly, something that was powerful. I believe that if this will be a blessing to you. Also, the book by my spiritual father, Bishop Madison, called The Wait Is Over. It's a good book. It talks about his journey. I don't know about many of you might not have known. He used to be over 400 something pounds, and the journey of him getting to where he is right now. So the two books I'm recommending is my book, The Servant Leader. It's not about you, and Bishop Mason's book, The Wait Is Over. Also, it is in the background, 39 days. If you haven't signed up, get your ticket, get your plane ticket, get your bus ticket, get your car, whatever you got to do. Be here. You got to be here. We need you here.
Daddy, let me,
go ahead.
If I may for a moment, on the anniversary, two things if I can. For the anniversary, get your ticket. Tickets are going swiftly, and though the registration deadline is April the 6th or the 7th, if we sell out of the tickets for the ball, registration will end early for the ball. So you do not want to wait till the last minute to get your ball ticket, because we are capping it at 250 and they are going fast. The tickets are going fast. Let me say that again. The tickets are going fast. So you do not want to wait to get that. And lastly, I know we was quickly going, but I want to drop this for you for the rest of the week. First Corinthians 16 and 14, the Passionate Translation. It says, let love and kindness be the motivation behind all you do. So for the rest of the week, for the rest of this month, for the rest of your life, let love and kindness be the motivation in what you do daily, what you do when you interact with people, what you do when you're on your job, what you do when you wake up. Let love guide you. Let love be that igniter in you. So I just wanted to get that out real quick. But again, the anniversary celebration, the ball tickets are selling fast. There is no cap to the celebration service. There is no cap to the picnic, but the ball, we're capping it at 250, and I need you to get your tickets pronto, ASAP, because if you do not, unfortunately, they're going to be sold out. So please, let me say that again. Please buy your ball ticket. If you would like to purchase the ball tickets, you can go to the Sanctuary Church 29.snappages.site, or you can scan the QR codes on our social media platforms that will take you directly to our Eventbrite page for you to register and get signed up. And that is all I have, Father. Go ahead.
And I need to say this. Once it's closed, don't send me a text saying, Bishop, can you hook a brother up? I can't do it. It's 250. I don't even have control to be able to hook. I can't hook nobody up. So please get out there, get them. They are going fast. So you don't want to hesitate. You don't want to be late, because we're going to have a grand old time with some comedy, with some fun, some dancing, some stuff going. And then on that Sunday, the Saturday, everything. I don't want you to miss anything. So come in however you can. We're going to make 29 Palms think something better than the Joshua. We're going to have people here more important than the Joshua Tree National Park. They're going to think they're coming to visit the park. No, they're coming to visit the Sanctuary Church in 29, because 20 years ago, God gave a vision and we're yet walking it out. Love you. Appreciate you. Remember, Servant Leader, it's not about you. The wait is over. Bishop Mason, Raspberry G. Mason, get those books, get those tickets, and see you. If I don't see you, but we're going to pick this up next week. Love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. We Ooh, yeah, I just love you. I'm just gonna just love you. I just
Let's
love
go
you.
to
I can't
work, execute, get it done.
get it done.